So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
And today we once again have another interesting video for you all. Now, this one is talking about if the puppet was never freed.
So yeah, this theory actually comes from the Happiest Day minigame in The Good Ending.
Yeah.
As we know, if we rescue all the children in the minigames, it leads up to this moment where the children are all stood around this cake, including the puppet, and their masks all go onto their faces and then fall to the floor.
Yeah.
And then, if you notice, the puppet is the last one to hit the floor.
Yeah, and this was something that a lot of people originally picked up on, and it was kind of like, why is it that the puppet's mask is ironically the last one to hit the floor? Why is it shown to almost float slower down to the floor? Now, I think Night 5 actually has the answer to this, and that is after 6 AM. Now, when we are back in the establishment playing on Night 5, there is a total of 5 children, but wouldn't there actually be 6 if the puppet was also to have descended into the purgatory state, or should I say after the purgatory state, into the afterlife?
Yeah, this means that obviously the puppet decided to stay behind because, I don't know, it seems like this puppet's in control of their freedom almost.
Yeah.
It's like he can go between being freed and not freed. It's almost like he chooses to stay in this purgatory state.
Yeah, so that leaves a lot of questions in regards to, is there some unanswered questions with the purple guy and also the puppet? And, I think a really interesting thing to pick up on is, on Night 5 at the very end when we see the Springtrap finally becoming what he is?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy seems to shake, that is the purple man within the Springtrap suit, seems to shake quite violently, and the expressions on the face of this 8-bit Springtrap character, they're very shocked, and it's almost like after the spring lock occurs, he doesn't expect to still be surviving, yet he is. So this could mean that the puppet is still alive within the establishment, kind of controlling what's happening and keeping him alive in this state. So he might have been feeling all that suffering and all of that pain all down to the puppet.
Yeah, and this goes back to a theory that we've had previously, that the puppet's actually staying behind to make the Springtrap suffer. And see, I've been thinking that Scott Cawthon, he's been known to make these Christian games. I mean, he went from making loads of Christian games to all of a sudden a mass murdering child killer.
Yeah, it's a big contrast, isn't it, from what he's used to.
See, I believe that there is some hidden, maybe some references within this game, within this franchise. Maybe the puppet represents some kind of guardian angel, maybe that he's there to protect all these children, free them, and make sure no other harm comes to them.
So as Ryan said, this bounces straight back to a theory we had in a past video. This was talking about the puppet in Cam 08 and its overall appearance, because to the right hand side of Cam 08 we can kind of see this puppet's mask hanging on the wall, can't we? And we can also experience the burned out puppet after we actually see the puppet in Cam 08. But when we actually see the puppet in Cam 08, he's not burned at all. He's actually in a very pristine and clean condition. So this might actually be a true representation of the puppet in his physical form, and this might not be a hallucination itself, but this might be how the puppet still appears to look.
Yeah, I mean, the puppet could be like a gateway between this purgatory and this reality.
Yeah.
He can go between the two to obviously, because if we're to suggest that, this puppet's staying behind to kill the Springtrap. This could explain why the Springtrap has stayed alive all this time. I mean, it's 30 years after supposedly Five Nights at Freddy's 1 closed down, and we know that this Springtrap was created after Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So anyone with no food, no water, locked in a Springtrap suit and bleeding out continuously all day, I mean, they're being made to stay alive. So that would explain why he is still alive, because this puppet keeps giving him life, because obviously we know the puppet is known for giving life, like the give cake minigame.
Exactly, and I mean, you've got to think back to the whole concept as well. I mean, look at how mangled the purple guy is within the Springtrap suit. That is impossible to be alive in that condition.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a corpse.
Yeah, I think what we can summarize is that the puppet definitely gave him possibly the most, well, I suppose for the puppet, the best gift ever. And that is for eternal suffering. And, I think the puppet is one of these guys who's going to have this paranormal element entwined, and that might explain why he's able to kind of traverse these establishments and always remain in a clean condition. I mean, if you look at some of the images where the puppet is actually freed from his box in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, he's actually transparent, so you can see straight through him, meaning he may have some kind of paranormal entwinement within. That might actually show why and how he can actually move around the establishments with this very slim, slender figure, because of course he would not be able to support himself because his feet round off at the bottom, so there is no way he could balance himself upright, so he must be floating. And I mean, thinking back to the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 minigame where we see him given the gifts and given life, he actually floats around that room as well, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so that might explain a lot towards the puppet and why he's been able to be in this good condition, and I suppose it means we'll probably be seeing him return in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the final chapter.
Oh, most definitely, but I think the puppet is the main driving force of this game, really. Like we say, it could be the guardian angels of these children.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense how, I don't know, if there is a Five Nights at Freddy's 4, that means the souls wasn't truly freed, if you know what I mean.
Well, there's still a lot of speculation as well in regards to how many lots of children were killed, so,
yeah,
you know,
true.
could this really show us where these previous children were killed? I mean, we have so many children sat at the tables eating cake in this final Happiest Day minigame in FNAF 3, so maybe these guys may be entwined because some of the masks they're wearing are a bit questionable, and we've never actually seen some of the animatronic masks before, or at least we can't liken them to ones we know that exist.
Yeah.
So there we have it, guys. That was discussing if the puppet was never freed. This was a pretty interesting discussion, and it's something which has been an ongoing debatable topic around the Five Nights at Freddy's community. Be sure to comment down below what you also think on this theory.
And if you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like rating down below? And if you're new around here, why not subscribe for more theories like this and also some gameplay?
So thank you very much for watching the video, guys, and we'll of course see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?